Republicans are absolutely losing it on live TV as their attempt to cover up for Donald Trump's dark past has just blown up in their faces. Their whole plan was to do this document dump on Friday of 33,000 pages, which they say, here's the real Epstein files, everyone. Then on the same day, release the interview, audio and written transcript between Donald Trump's former defense attorney, Todd Blanche, turned number 2 at the Department of Justice, and Ghislaine Maxwell, with Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer, David Oscar Marcus, who's close friends with Todd Blanche. And then on that same Friday where you have the 33-page document dump, where you have the Ghislaine Maxwell interview transcript release, go after John Bolton, Donald Trump's former national security advisor, raid his home, raid his office, and try to command the headlines on Friday with that raid based on Donald Trump's claim that Bolton stole classified information to write his book in 2020, which Trump claimed erroneously in 2020. So he's bringing that up in 2025. Remember in 2020, Donald Trump's like, maybe I should go and drop a bomb on John Bolton. All right. So that was the plan. It's now blowing up in their faces. I don't think what they relied on was the fact that corporate media is dead. And now you have independent media like the MeidasTouch network that's laser focused. We don't care if it's a document dump on Friday. We're going to stick to it and we're going to make sure the truth is out there. So on Saturday, I was able to interview Democratic Congress member Robert Garcia, who now is the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee. His team reviewed, boom, in 24 to 48 hours, all 33,000 documents that the DOJ turned over, which they claimed were the Epstein files. And to quote Garcia directly, what we got was a complete bag of bullshit. 97 to 98% of all of the documents turned over to the House Oversight Committee late, might I add. It was supposed to be due on Wednesday, but Trump was like, let's do a document dump on Friday, because he still lives in like the 1980s. Nobody watches the news on a Friday, so move the deadline to a Friday. Well, no one agreed to move the deadline to a Friday, but they dumped 33,000 old documents. 97, 98% were documents that were already out there in other cases and are already in the public record. Really nothing new at all. Here's what Democratic Congress member Robert Garcia told me after his team read through all 33,000 documents in basically 24 hours. Play this clip. Congressman Robert Garcia, it's great to see you today. I've got to ask you, we know the Department of Justice has turned over some subset of what they're calling the Epstein files based on the subpoena that you pushed forward, and you were able to get this subpoena sent to the Department of Justice. So I have to ask you, how many files did you receive? What were in the files that you received? Is the cover-up just continuing?
I mean, Ben, what we got was complete bullshit. And we demanded the full Epstein files, and that's not what was sent over. The White House cover-up clearly continues. What they sent us was 33,000 pages of essentially documents that have already been in the public domain. And so 97% of those 33,000 pages are court records, documents, reports that everyone already has, that the public already has and has reviewed. And so instead of actually sending us the client list, information related to Epstein and his crimes, what those who have been involved in the serious damage and harm that he has caused, we didn't get actually any of that. So that is incredibly concerning for us. The subpoena was to get all the files unredacted at once. They have failed to do so, and instead now are playing this game with this limited release of the Epstein files, which is a complete joke. And let me just say one more thing. They're now trying to claim somehow that Ghislaine Maxwell, is claiming that, oh no, President Trump wasn't involved. Give me a break. She's a sex trafficker and a known liar. She should not be trusted. And once again, Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, Mike Johnson, they're all involved in a massive cover-up.
So it rang very hollow when MAGA Republican Congress members like Jim Jordan, by the way, these people have histories of covering up sex abuse. Like, that's their qualification to be leaders in the Republican Party. Did you cover up sex abuse in the past? Yes, we did. Okay, let's give you a leadership role in the Republican Party. So then like Jim Jordan tries to get out there and say, look, everybody, Ghislaine Maxwell cleared Donald Trump. The transcript vindicates Trump. We're good, right? Watch him try this. Watch him try to pull it. But watch how nervous and pathetic he looks because the tide has turned, Jordan. This stuff ain't working anymore. We know what you're up to and we're exposing you and calling you out. You pathetic, vile human, you. Here, play this clip.
We'll see. What I know is they didn't release parts of the transcript. They released the whole transcript. And you know, so you can go through the whole thing. And of course, this confirms what we all knew. If the Democrats, if President Trump had done something wrong, you don't think the Democrats would have released that? I mean, it was their Justice Department who handled all this. You don't think the Garland Justice Department and the Chris Wray FBI would have released information? We knew President Trump didn't do anything wrong here. He said that repeatedly. This transcript is the whole transcript, and it confirms that. So. Yeah, I think there's nothing there. It seems based on what we got from the interview of Miss Maxwell.
You know, while I'm at it, Jim Jordan, why don't I show one of the victims of Ohio State University, Mr. DeSabato, who I had the honor of being able to interview. He was on the wrestling team where you were the coach. The doctor who you knew because you were the coach, who you showered with these college young men, and you saw the abuse take place. You were well aware what took place. All the wrestlers knew that you were covering up for this doctor who's now dead, this sexual abuser, this Epstein-like person. Your background was covering up for your Epstein at Ohio State University. And you were deposed recently, Jim Jordan. Can't wait till I get my hands on your deposition, Jim Jordan. Here, play this clip of Mr. DeSabato, a victim at Ohio State. And Jim Jordan covered it up. Here, play this clip.
Let me just be clear. Jim Jordan knew that Dr. Strauss was performing unnecessary genital exams. He knew that Dr. Strauss was performing unnecessary rectal exams. And he absolutely knew that Dr. Strauss was taking showers with us on a daily basis, and also going into the sauna with us on a daily basis. He knows that because he was there with us. Jim trained with us. He took a shower with us. He did saunas with us. There's no disputing that Strauss was taking showers with us on a daily basis, taking saunas on a daily basis, which is a form of sex abuse. Your doctor should not be showering with his patients, and yet it went on for over 20 years, not just in wrestling, but in several sports. Strauss would take showers with not only the wrestlers, but the gymnasts, swimmers, number of teams. He would take 6 to 7 showers a day across multiple sports. I know Jim Jordan also knew about genital exams because we had open conversations about Strauss performing genital exams. And we did so in a locker room, let's call it a locker room situation where guys we handled it with humor to some extent, where, you know, Strauss gave me a genital exam today.
Now, you can see in real time as this cover-up of Epstein is blowing up in all of their faces. They thought Friday they'd be done with it, just like they thought back in February when they had the MAGA influencers hold up those binders saying, here are the Epstein files, everybody. Remember when they pulled that crap in February? Then everybody called them out. And then they're like, okay, it's really on our desk right now. Pam Bondi, the attorney general, said, I'm going to produce it. Remember when Bondi said that? Here, play this clip, Bondi.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
Okay, we remember that, Bondi. We remember the image of them all holding it up. Well, you never turned it over. But now your new plan was what? If you drop 33,000 documents versus a tiny binder, that you were going to throw us off the trail. We weren't going to realize these were 33,000 documents that already existed out there in the public record. And these aren't the documents that have Donald Trump's name all over them. We know that Donald Trump's name is all over them. It's been widely reported. You had a whole team of DOJ and FBI lawyers go through it to redact and try to remove Donald Trump's name. We're remaining laser focused. We're not going anywhere right here. And by the way, Jim Jordan, you're crediting Ghislaine Maxwell, a convicted sex trafficker, as being the moral authority here. You do realize that in that same interview transcript, she said that she and Epstein did nothing wrong. She said Epstein didn't like underage girls. Epstein was just getting young women, that she would help introduce Epstein to young women because Epstein, this is what Ghislaine said, was interested in like, what are young people doing? Like young adults. Like, are they into young, like what musical acts are out there? So Ghislaine says that Epstein didn't really like these young women. We're talking about girls, but Ghislaine said women. He wanted to learn about like just what young people are doing, where are they hanging out, what kind of music do they listen to? That's what Ghislaine said, and that she did nothing wrong. And then Ghislaine blamed all of the victims for the sexual assault on them as children. That's what Ghislaine said. So that's who you're saying is the moral authority, someone who said that Epstein and her are innocent. Well done, Jim Jordan, you freaking moron, you. And just, I love this clip from CNN where you had one of the, like the panel, the MAGA guy was like confronted and was like, so are you saying that Epstein is innocent? No. Are you saying that Ghislaine is innocent? No. Okay, well, you agree Ghislaine is guilty, right? And you agree that she's a liar, right? So why are you crediting her with what she's saying? And they don't know what to say. This is how it's done. Here, watch this right here. Play this clip.
Though, because
Please.
I'm still stuck on what the point here was. You say it was to find investigative leads. Do you believe that Ghislaine Maxwell is guilty?
Yes, I've said that for
Well, she denied
years.
her guilt in the interview.
Most criminals lie.
Made,
Newsflash. Most criminals lie. That's like not shocking.
Then why on earth would you believe anything she
For the
said?
same reason that if you're in law enforcement and you were at the FBI, you interview a lot of guilty people to get leads from
when
them.
I was
That's
in the FBI,
not news.
I wouldn't interview somebody
So
unless
you would
I knew
never interviewed somebody as a criminal?
I would never interview somebody without knowing every fact of the case before I went to interview that person.
Okay.
What Todd Blanche did is go in without knowing anything.
And to your point, no pushback, no follow-up questions.
Folks, even Jesse Waters wasn't buying it. Play this clip.
The list doesn't exist. So flight manifests don't exist. The surveillance tapes don't exist. The bank records don't exist.
Even by the evening, Jonathan Turley, the MAGA lawyer, was struggling with it. Here, play this clip.
You could sense the palpable disappointment in this city when she said there is no list, and I actually think I know where that rumor came from. And what happened was she was immediately denounced as a liar, that there has to be a list and that she was protecting the president. There is another possibility, and that is she didn't have anything on the president, and perhaps there isn't a list. But what is clear is that this release didn't satisfy the Beltway. Now, is she gaming the system? Probably. I mean, this is not someone who was put into jail for no reason at all.
And here's Ghislaine saying that there was no list at all. There's absolutely no list. Play this clip.
During the time that you were with Mr. Epstein, and even in the 2000s when you were around less frequently, you never observed or you never saw any sort of list or black book or a list of individuals who linked to certain masseuses or
Absolutely
anything like that?
Absolutely no. There is no list.
This was on CNN where they basically said at the end of the day, Ghislaine said that she was totally innocent and nothing was wrong, that all that happened. Here, play this clip.
Maxwell notably denies that any wrongdoing took place on her behalf, something that contradicts what we've heard from victims and clearly what she was convicted of.
And then finally, we have Jim Jordan saying, Why did we have to wait until Bondi, Patel, and Gabbard? They were the ones who exposed Russia from 2016. And what we really should be focused on right now is nothing about Epstein. Let's focus on Donald Trump, Russia, something, and Obama saying Donald Trump liked Russia. What are you talking about? Donald Trump said, Russia, if you're listening, find me hack the emails for me or something like that. Like, we have Donald Trump saying that. Anyway, let me play Jim Jordan here. Play this clip.
Well, we'll see. Again, Attorney General Bondi's indicated she's put a special group together to investigate all this, how they changed the Intelligence Committee report, what all happened in that time frame. And I always point out, too, I'm glad they're investigating this because this is when it all started. This whole pattern, this whole lawfare, it started in 2016 with him spying on his campaign, then trying to sabotage his presidency, talking to him about the dossier, which led to the whole Mueller investigation, then impeachment, then Jack Smith, Fonnie Willis, Alvin Bragg, and on. It all started back then. And I am so glad that we have Attorney General Bondi, Director Patel, and ODNI Director Tulsi Gabbard bringing this information forward. And it sort of begs the real question, where's Chris Wray? Why didn't we get this information? Why did it take Cash and Pam and Tulsi to bring this information forward? Why didn't we get it from Chris Wray? But the good news is it's coming forward now, and Attorney General Bondi is looking into it with this special team she's put together to investigate it all.
And Jim, Donald Trump, this past week, you want to hear Russia? You want to hear Russia? Donald Trump was holding a photo of Putin like he was in the honeymoon phase of like a relationship with the guy. Like he was dating Putin. Putin sent me this beautiful photo of me and Vlad. And Donald Trump told the head of FIFA who's standing next to him, and maybe I'll get Vladdy to sign it for you. Okay, what we just saw in front of our eyes, whatever the accusations of Russia, what Donald Trump just did in the Oval Office, way worse, right in front of our eyes. It happened on Friday. Here, play this clip of Donald Trump holding the photo of Vlad. Play this clip.
And I was just sent a picture from somebody that wants to be there very badly. He's been very respectful of me and of our country, but not so respectful of others. But I'm going to sign this for him, but I was sent one, and I thought you'd all like to see it. That's a man named Vladimir Putin, who I believe will be coming, depending on what happens. He may be coming, and he may not, depending on what happens. We have a lot of things happening over the next couple of weeks. But I thought it was a nice picture of him. Okay of me, but nice of him. So that was very nice that it was sent to me. Okay?
Yeah, Vladdy, Donald Trump's little boyfriend, Vladdy right there. But that's an important point I want to make before closing right here, right? Is that Donald Trump giving Ghislaine Maxwell immunity and moving her from a maximum security facility where she was to serve a 20-year prison sentence to a minimum security facility in Camp Bryan, Texas. And then a woman who was in Camp Bryan, Texas, who criticized Ghislaine from going there. The woman who criticized Ghislaine got moved to where the sex traffickers go, and Ghislaine is getting immunity and this great lifestyle. It's happening in front of our eyes. With Donald Trump's love of Putin and his hatred of democracies and NATO, it's happening in front of our eyes. In many ways, I don't need to dig through files to see what's happening right now in front of me, whether it's with Ghislaine and Epstein in front of me right now, what Trump's saying. Trump's talking about girls being stolen from Mar-a-Lago in front of me. He's saying it. He's saying Epstein stole the girls. That's sex trafficking. That's what you're referring to. Or Donald Trump saying his love for Putin and showing freaking photographs. What are we talking about here? Anyway, hit subscribe, help us get to 6 million. There you have it.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.